Pokeballs are the crucial element in performing the most basic action in the Pokemon franchise, the catching of Pokemon. From only having 5 different and well-known variants in the first generation, the franchise has nowadays racked up 37 different Pokeballs. Like, pew pew to the back of your head, tell me what the Cherish Ball does. Yeah, that's what I thought. Plus one extra special ball, which is not in any of the games and I'll be covering right at the end. Lucky for you, I'm here to explain to you all the purpose and the catch rate differences between each Pokeball, and rank them according to my preference, which, as you all know by now, is the highest type of grading, because I got a short on. Which implies from the start that I'm a professional who knows what they're talking about. Let's go. This little guy is the mascot of Pokeballs. You mostly only see this guy used in the anime, probably because it's the most recognizable and easy to draw consistently for the animators. It has the basic catch rate of 1. Also, shout out to the people who calculate the catch rates, like, too much math for me, man. It gets the job done early on in the game since it's one of the most recognizable items in pop culture history. Purely because of that, I think it would be a shame to not send it to the S tier. It seems pretty great. You get it? Did you get it? I'll stop with the bad jokes now. This is a serious conversation. What makes this ball an improvement over the normal Pokeball is that its catch rate is jumped to 1.5. The design is not my favorite, but not bad as well. I honestly think it's the Pokeball I've used the most in the games, because I usually capture my team before obtaining Ultra Balls, or had the necessary funds to sustain my catching addiction developed by Pokemon Go. A tier. The Ultra Ball's catch rate is 2, which is twice the one of a normal ball, which means it's ultra good. These are the ones you lose the most in the games because it has the highest catch rate of a non-guaranteed catch without any special conditions in the whole franchise. And because it's easier obtainable, you just buy them from the Pokemart. I tell you, you'll not be sitting there thinking, should I throw this heavy ball? Wait, is the Pokemon heavy enough for that? Nah bro, you'll just chuck Ultra Ball at it. It's simple yet amazing, just like its design. We got ourselves another S tier already. This is the cheat ball. It has a catch rate of 255, which means guaranteed. You get one per game at kind of the end of the story, and you can use it, for example, when you randomly encounter a Raikou in the grass. The design is beautiful, the purple, the pink, it even has an M on it, the first Pokeball to have a letter written onto it. And yeah, it's classic. Probably the most iconic after the original ball, so I'm sending it straight into S tier as well. The Safari Ball has a 1.5 catch rate. It used to only be available in Safari Zone, a location present in certain games in which should be given 30 Safari Balls with the purpose of catching as many Pokemon as possible. The resort had specific Pokemon that might have not been available outside of it in the specific regions, but the other twist was that you could not battle the Pokemon inside. You could feed them or throw mud at them, so you had to get a mud food combo to confuse and get on the nerves of that Pokemon for you to catch it. But in the Isle of Armor DLC of Pokemon Sword and Shield, they made the Safari Ball obtainable and usable in the wild. But they also switched its catch rate to a plain one, like why even make it available if it's just as good as a Pokeball. Previously it was on par with the Great Ball, which is not the best, but it's also not the worst. The design is pretty cool. Its first appearance in the anime though, in the band episode with the Ash, Taurus and the Pew Pew pointed at the 10-year-old, Safari Ball had this ugly plain green design with a tiny S on it. So much happier that they've stuck with the design inside the games because it smells better. C tier. We've reached Gen 2, arguably the region with the best games in the franchise, and now with the most balls added, 8. That's if you don't take into consideration Hisuian's 11, because some of those are only upgrades from already existing Pokeballs and Hisuian adaptations. And from this point forward, almost every ball will have a spiel to it, not just a simple catch rate. This makes stuff way more interesting if you learn each one of their specific usages and not just chuck Ultra Balls all the time, as I've previously mentioned, even though that as well is a pretty fulfilling strategy. Behind its cute and electric design with the ball suggesting speed, very clever, is a ball that has a catch rate of 4 if used on a Pokemon with a base speed of at least 100, otherwise the catch rate is 1, as it stands with every Pokeball from now on if they aren't used for the specific purpose. I'm mentioning it now so I will not repeat myself later on and turn this video into more of a yapping session than it needs to be. As you'll see, there is a pretty significant number of Pokemon that fulfill the base speed requirement, so this ball is not the worst. B tier. The level ball is pretty interesting. If you have the same or lower in level than the Pokemon trying to catch in the wild, then the catch rate would be 1, on par with the basic Pokeball. If you're higher in level than it, then the rate is 2. If you are more than double its level, then the rate is 4. And if you are more than 4 times its level, then the rate is 8. I think this ball shines the most on shiny hunting, because let's say you are like level 80 and try to catch level 18 Slowpoke. You can chuck Pokeballs at it and it will probably work because it's low in level, but it might be easier and consume less if you use the level ball. But at the same time, there are other solutions. You could use quick balls, which are better in way more scenarios than this one, which, as I've said, I think is the only one where the level balls could actually put in a shift and make a difference. Or you can use a Scyther with False Swipe, a move that doesn't one-shot wild Pokemon, but leave it at 1 HP. The design is fine, not helping it grow into my eyes more. I'm sending it to the city. Don't let its groovy design fool you. This one is pretty shit. The catch rate is 4 when used on Pokemon you encounter whilst fishing. Oh no, what if the Magikarp is too strong to get on the ball? Like, it's pretty situational, because if you fish the Great Rod and encounter a level of 30 Gyarados, you probably have the necessary means to capture it without the need of having this item in your bag. But as the case probably is with most of these niche balls, trainers just don't think of needing them on purpose. They just put them in their bags and use them in certain situations, especially because they aren't as easy obtainable as normal balls, so don't make a habit of using them. D tier. This ball has one of the funniest downsides to it, because, as its title implies, it's used to catch heavy heavy Pokemon, but like really heavy. Because if you try to catch a Pokemon weighing between 100 and 200 kilos, the rate would be 0. Between 200 and 300 it would be 20, high increase, and 30 for anything over that. But what happens if you try to catch a Pokemon that's under 100 kilos? Well, its catch rate in that particular situation is -20. It's basically impossible to catch level 4 Zigzagoon with this ball, but yeah, in cases for legendary Pokemon like Solgaleo, it's elite, so it basically helps you when you need it. Highly usable niche ball, A tier. The love ball does exactly what it is expected to do. It makes Pokemon of the opposite gender of the same species as your Pokemon easier to catch, but you wouldn't expect its catch rate to be 8. That's so much. It makes it way better and it's not as situational as others. The design is also really cute. A very deserved B tier. This ball has a basic catch rate of 1, but Pokemon caught with it has a friendship of 200 right away. That was still Gen 7 included, because Gen 8 and 9 reduced the number to 150. This ball is great for evolving Eevee into Sylveon and Riolu into Lucario, and the other Pokemon that evolved through friendship. Those two are the only ones that came to my mind right away. It's only used if you want those certain Pokemon, which like, if it's rarely found in the wild in some games, you just receive it. And there are also other items to help increase friendship, like the Sooth Bell. Plus the fact that it doesn't increase the catch rate at all. Like, come on, give it a 1.5 or something. You're really just gonna give it a plain 1. This pissed me off a lot. And that they've also nerfed it over time, even though no one was like, oh my god, this ball is too OP. Like, it's so redundant to the point that people probably didn't know that it got nerfed in the first place. For me, it's the first F tier on this list. Much for the power of friendship, am I right? It has rate of 4 on Pokemon that evolve using a Moonstone. And the cherry on top, in Gen 2 it always has the rate of 1 due to programming error. So you from the start only use it in 1 or 2 scenarios, and in that generation it doesn't even work. This makes me feel bad about putting the friend ball in F tier, because it's miles worse, but yeah, game is game. F tier. It's literally the same situation as the Safari Ball, but used in ball catching Pokemon contests. It also became available in the wild in the Sword and Shield DLC, but opposite of Safari Ball, when it appeared with different design in the anime, I actually considered that one better than the in-game one. So yeah, D tier. Our first Gen 3 Pokeball. It has a 3.5 rate when used on water or bug types. Simple yet amazing, because water types are the most common type of Pokemon in the franchise, and bug types are also found usually. So I can't complain, it's useful, that's what I want to see. I would have given it a B tier initially, but man do I love the design. The dark cyan with those black stripes that are not made into the design but are placed over the ball itself. Fucking brilliant. A tier. When it initially came out, it only worked on Pokemon underwater, a feature that was present in the 3rd generation games, and only there. The dive ball would have a 3.5 catch rate for those Pokemon, and then afterwards, the Pokemon encountered on water or whilst fishing. I'm glad they made that change, because guess how many Pokemon could be encountered underwater in Gen 3? Only 3! They made a Pokeball that only worked on 3 different Pokemon. The net ball is light years better, even after switching this one's requirements. C tier. This Pokeball has a higher catch rate when used on lower level wild Pokemon, so just a level ball reskin, but this one also has you doing math to understand the individual catch rate based on every single level. So you have to solve this equation. Like, what is that? Why do I have to do math to understand if I have a higher chance to catch a Pikachu with the Ultra Ball or a NES Ball? It's like those shitty learning games you used to play as a kid. You'd get them from school on CDs and they were crap. And those games you had situations like, oh, Blackbeard has to get this number of barrels of juice for the pirates on the ship. These marine pirates consume juice and the ship can hold these many barrels. How many should you board on the ship? Like, what the fuck, Blackbeard did not think of that. He'd just throw them onto the ship, and if they were too heavy and slow down the ship, he'd blame one of the random addicts on there and throw him out to the sea. Like, what the fuck. F tier. This one gives you a 3.5 catch rate for Pokemon that you've already registered in your Pokédex. So another shiny hunting material. The design is really cool though. B tier. This depends on how many rounds of the battle have passed. Caps at the rate of 4 after 10 turns. Pretty interesting. Could have made it a bit more powerful in my opinion. Maybe even double it, because 10 turns are a lot, and it would have made it way more useful to use. But yeah, it is what it is. Not the worst one. The design is okay. Nothing bad. Nothing amazing. I think almost all the designs so far were pretty alright, so I have to give props to the designers. C tier. This ball looks fancy and pretty, so it's on par with the title. The rate is only 1, and it doubles the rate at which the Pokemon friendship increases. So where's friend ball? Wow. This is the second time I've had second thoughts about the friend ball's rating, so I have to switch it. The VAR room has decided the friend ball goes up to D tier and the luxury ball takes his place at F tier. This is the worst ball in existence. You receive it for every 10 balls you buy of one type, and it sucks ass so much. On paper it's on par with a normal Pokeball, the catch rate of 1 and nothing else, but that is a fucking lie. I've never caught anything with this shit. Everything escaped, no matter how low its level and HP were. But then, when I throw a regular ass Pokeball, it would catch on the first try. This is high grade manipulation of society. This ball fucking sucks. But I remember someone catching a Solgaleo once with this one, so props to him. He just wasted his luck for the next 5 years on a Pokeball throw. F tier, the lowest degree of F tier, fucking Shadow Realm tier. The first ball in Gen 4, the rules are simple. The catch rate is 3 if you do use it in a cave or at night, so higher catch rate than an Ultra Ball if you don't have a bedtime. The design is also sick. It's up there as well for most recognized balls in my opinion. A tier. The catch rate doesn't move from 1, but if you catch a Pokemon with it, it basically acts like a Nurse Joy heal. It's great if you are on the go and don't want to track back to the Pokemon Center, but apart from that, there is literally no use for it. I love the design though, it's very cute and it has a marshmallow vibe to it, so it ups up a bit. D tier. The Pokeball for gambling addicts, whew! It has a catch rate of 5, even though it seems to be more at times. And that catch rate only works if you use it on your first turn. Man, I caught some legendaries with this one. And I can tell you it's in top 5 feelings you get from this franchise. Because there is a slim chance that Suicune would go in, but you still try. It's your first turn only, it doesn't matter. If it does go in, it doesn't. You just fight it. But if it does, you celebrate as if you won at life. It's brilliant. Getting the kids hooked onto gambling from a young age. That's what I like. That's a joke, YouTube. People talk about CSGO cases, but everyone turns a blind eye to the Quick Ball. Amazing balls. That's what she said. I'm 19. I have to stop doing these jokes, okay? The design is awesome. That light blue split by those yellow lines. I don't know why I'm glazing this ball so much with more arguments, because from the get-go, I knew that they'd be sending this one to the S tier. The cherished ball first appeared in Gen 4, and from that point onward, it was used with the purpose of holding event Pokemon, so you cannot use it in the wild. It's just for decoratory purposes. I personally love its aspect, it's simple, but I love the shade of red used, and I like the detail it has on the sides. B tier. The park ball is used to catch Pokemon without fail in the Pole Park, a location that first appeared in Gen 4 with the purpose of migrating Pokemon from different main series games, in this case, the 3rd generation. You'd use this ball to catch said migrating Pokemon, but once you leave that location, the park ball would disappear, and the Pokemon would appear with the ball that was used for its capture in its original game. A cute idea to use a special ball for this occasion, but man, couldn't you put some budget in the design? It looks kinda crap. I won't punch it down that hard since its purpose is very limited, and it was nice of the devs to think of it. So, C tier. The only Pokeball introduced in Gen 5, this one being used in a special location called the Entry Forest, where you are given the Dream Ball to catch any Pokemon you've encountered in the Dream World without fail. In Gen 8, this change in the Dream Ball got its own requirements and the attributes beside the cutesy design. The catch rate is 4 if used on a sleeping Pokemon. Helpful for shiny hunting as I previously mentioned with other balls, but this one should be useful with any regular Pokemon in my opinion. I always like to paralyze or put my Pokemon to sleep before catching them, because it makes it easier, so this ball would be a lot of help, making it even more easier. B tier. The baseball was introduced in Gen 7 and it was the only Pokeball introduced by that region. Yes, Gen 6 was skipped and it had a catch rate of 5 when used on an Ultra Beast. Remember those guys? Because I completely forgot about their existence. The baseball is extremely useful because any other Pokeball except the Master Ball would have a 0.1 catch rate against Ultra Beast, so this is really the only choice for capturing them. And on top of that, the design is brilliant. Like, look at that, the 4 claws grasping the interdimensional looking ball. We haven't had an S tier in quite some time, and since the ball is basically the only way to capture Ultra Beast, and the fact that its design looks actually thought out, I think this ball deserves to go into the S tier. Excluding the special ball at the end, all of the remaining 11 balls are from Legends Arceus. Sword and Shield and Scarlet and Violet do not offer any new balls to the franchise. Shame on them. The Strange Ball acts as a park ball, but for today's games, you can migrate Pokemon between any new series games since Let's Go Pikachu and also Pokemon Go. When you obtain them, they would be inside the Strange Ball. Again, a cute thing added to make the whole process more special, and even though it looks way better than the park ball, they don't have a park attached to the process, so it stays as well in the C tier. The Hisuian versions of the Pokeball, Great Ball and Ultra Ball are all cute. I like what they did with the designs and they even played with the numbers a bit. The normal one goes from 1 to 0.75, the Great one stays the same, and the Ultra one goes from 2 to 2.25. I like them, none are deserving of S tier in my opinion, but they are not bad and I love how balls work in this game, so I'll send them all to B tier. The Feather Ball, Wing Ball and Jet Ball are all basically the same but an upgraded version of each other. This ball has a special purpose, it's lighter so it flies higher when it's thrown. The normal catch rates are the same as for the original trio in their normal forms, not Hisuian, and when boosted they each go up a bit, the Jet one even up to 2.75. I think the design is pretty like Swablu and I like how they took the occasion to make catching Pokemon different to this game and implement different throwing attributes. A tier. The Hisuian version of the Happy Ball plus its two upgrades, Leaden Ball and Giganton Ball, are most effective when the Pokemon doesn't notice you, since this ball can barely gain any height when thrown. Nothing too wow, the design is way too plain, so they'll go to the C tier. The Origin Ball automatically catches the origin form of the Algal Poké at the end of the main story. It's like a different type of Master Ball, but the design looks more like a repurposed Cherish Ball, so it's not really for me. C tier. And now, for our last ball, the special that I mentioned at the start of the video, the Team Rocket Ball. This is a moment of honoring Team Rocket's implication in the franchise for 25 seasons. They were always chasing Pikachu, they grew over time and became better and better to watch, and they brought life to the anime. The last 3 seasons of the Journey ones are amongst my favorites because they helped the franchise go out with a bang. I could probably talk about them a lot, but I'm probably saving the praise for another video. The point is, when fighting, Team Rocket will always receive a Gumball machine from the headquarters, delivered by a Pelipper. The machine featured different Pokemon chasing gems to use for every battle, getting rid of the aspect of them catching their own Pokemon and using them. Some may love it, some may hate it, but it was interesting, and there even was a whole episode dedicated to them following the Pelipper to find out why they were constantly given shit Pokemon. It was really fun, and the tree was as entertaining to watch as ever. The Pokemon from the machine would come inside the special Team Rocket branded balls, and it was awesome. A tier. Hopefully after watching this video, all of you out there are more knowledgeable about every Pokeball's way of functioning. I sure am, but for me, a new question has surfaced. Given how many quote-unquote useless balls there are, I'm thinking, how have Nintendo not released a special Pikachu themed ball in the games that it also sells as merchandise? Well, I guess Nintendo is not a big of a fan of useless and expensive merchandise. Who'd have thought?